The Book of Enoch. The blessing of Enoch, with which he blessed the elect and the righteous who would be present on the day of tribulation, at the time of the removal of all the wicked ones. And Enoch, the blessed and righteous man of Yahweh, took up his parable, while his eyes were open, and he saw, and he said, This is Kadosh vision, from the heavens, which the malakim showed me. And I heard from them everything, and I understood. I look not for this generation, but for the distant one that is coming. I speak about the elect ones, and concerning them. And I took up with the parable, saying, Yahweh of this universe, the Kodesh Great One, Echad, will come forth from his dwelling. And from there he will march upon Mount Sinai, and appear in his camp, emerging from heaven with a mighty power, and everyone shall be afraid. The watchers shall quiver. And great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. Mountains and high places will fall down, and be frightened. And high hills shall be made low, and they shall melt like a honeycomb before the flame. And the earth shall be rent asunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all, including the righteous. And to all the righteous he will grant shalom. He will preserve the elect. The loving kindness shall be upon them. They shall be all belong to Yahweh, and they shall prosper and be blessed. And the light of Yahweh shall shine upon them. Behold, he will arrive with 10 million of the Kodesh ones, in order to execute his judgment upon all. He will destroy the wicked ones, and censure all flesh on account of everything that they have done, that which the sinners and the wicked ones committed against him. Enoch chapter 2. Examine all the activities which take place in the sky, and how they do not alter their ways, and examine the luminaries in the heaven, how each of them rises and sets. Each one is systematic according to its respective season, and they do not divert from their appointed order. And look at the earth, and turn in your mind concerning the action which is taking place in her from the beginning to the end, Alef and Tav, how all the work of Yahweh is being manifested, does not change. And behold, the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water and clouds and dew, and he causes rain to rest upon her. Examine and observe everything, and the trees, how all their leaves appear as if they wither and have fallen, except 14 trees whose leaves do not fall, but the old foliage remains for about 2 to 3 years, until the new leaves come. And again, examine the days of summer, how the heat of the sun is upon the earth and dominates her. And as for you, you will crave shade and shelter on account of the heat of the sun. And the earth shall burn with scorching heat, and you will not be able to walk on the earth or on the rock on account of the heat. Observe how the verdant trees are covered with leaves, and they bear fruit. Pay attention concerning all things, and know in what manner he fashioned them. All of them belong to him who lives forever. His work proceeds and progresses from year to year, and all his work prospers and obeys him. And it does not change, but everything functions in the way in which Yahweh has ordered it. And look at the seas. They do not part, they fulfill all their duties. But as for you, have not been long-suffering, and you have not done the commandments of Yahweh, but you have transgressed and spoken slanderously, grave and harsh words, with your impure mouths against his greatness. O you hard-hearted, may you not find peace. Shalom. Therefore you shall curse your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and multiply in external excretion, and there will be any mercy on you. In those days you shall make your name an external excretion unto all the righteous, and the sinners shall curse you continually, you together with the sinners, but to the elect there shall be light, joy, peace, and they shall inherit the earth. To you, wicked ones, on the contrary, there will be a curse. And then the wisdom shall be given to the elect, and they shall all live, and not return again to sin, either by being wicked or through pride. But those who have wisdom shall be humbled, and shall not return again to sin. And they shall not be judged in the days of their lives, nor die through the plague of wrath. But they shall complete the designated number of the days of their life. And peace shall increase their lives, and the years of their happiness shall be multiplied forever in gladness and peace all the days of their life. Enoch chapter 6. In those days, when the children of man had multiplied, it happened that there were born unto them handsome and beautiful daughters. And the angels, the children of heaven, saw them and desired them, and they said to one another, Come, let us choose wives for ourselves from among the daughters of man, and begat us children. And Semyaz, being their leader, said unto them, I fear that perhaps you will not consent that this deed should be done, and I alone will become responsible for this great sin. But they all responded to him, Let us all swear an oath, and bind every one among us by a curse, not to abandon this suggestion, but to do the deed. Then they all swore together and bound one another by the curse. And they were altogether 200, and they descended into Ardos, which is the summit of Hermon. And they called to Mount Armon, for they swore and bound one another by a curse. And their names are as follows: Semyaz, the leader of Arakeb, Ram-el, Tam-el, Ram-el, Dan-el, Ezekiel, Barak-yal, As-el, Arma-ros, Bater-el, An-el, Zek-el, Sasomopai-el, Kestal-el, Turk-el, Yaman-yol, and Araz-yal. These are their chiefs, and of tens, and of the others with them. Chapter 7. And they took wives unto themselves, and every one respectively chose one woman for himself, and they began to go unto them, and they taught them magical medicine, incantations, the cutting of roots, and taught them plants. And the woman became pregnant, and gave birth to great giants, whose height were 300 cubits. These giants consumed the produce of all the people, until the people detested feeding them. So the giants turned aside against the people in order to eat them. And they began to sin against birds, wild beasts, reptiles, and fish, and their flesh was devoured the one by another, and they drank blood. And then the earth brought an accusation against its oppressors. Enoch chapter 8. And Azazel taught the people the art of making swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and he showed their chosen ones bracelets, decorations, shadowing of the eye with antimony, ornamentation, the beautifying of their eyelids, with kinds of precious stones, and all coloring, tinctures, and alchemy. And there were many wicked ones that they had committed adultery and erred, and all their conduct became corrupt. Amarias taught incantations, and the cutting of roots, and Armaos, the resolving of incantations, and Berikiel, astrology, and Kokarezel, the knowledge of the signs, and Temiel taught the seeing the stars, and Asdariel taught the course of the moon, as well as the deception of man. And the people cried, and their voice reached heaven. Enoch chapter 9. Then Michael, Suraphel, and Gabriel observed carefully from the sky, and they saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all the oppression being wrought upon the earth. And they said to one another, The earth from her empty foundation has brought the cry of the voice unto the gates of heaven. And now, O Kodesh ones, the souls of people are putting their case before you, pleading, Bring our judgment before the Most High. And they said to Yahweh of the potentates, For he is Yahweh of masters, and the Almighty of gods, and the King of kings, and the seat of his splendor stands throughout all the generations of the world. Your name, Hashem, is Kadosh, and blessed, and magnificent through the whole world. You have made everything, and with you is the authority for everything. Everything is naked and open before your sight, and you see everything, and there is nothing which can hide itself from you. You see what Azazel has done. Now he has taught all forms of oppression upon the earth, and they revealed eternal secrets, which are performed in heaven, and which man learned. Moreover, Semyaz, to whom you have been given authority to rule over his companies, cooperating, they went unto the daughters of the people of earth, and they lay together with them, those women, and defiled themselves, and revealed to them every kind of sin, iniquity. As for the women, they gave birth to giants, to the degree that the whole earth was filled with blood and oppression. And now behold, the Kodesh One, Echad, will cry, and those who have died will bring their suit up to the gate of heaven. Their groaning has ascended into heaven, and they could not get out from the earth. The face of the oppression is being wrought on the earth, and you know everything, even before it came to exist. And you see this thing, but you do not tell us what is proper for us that we may do regarding it. Enoch, chapter 10. And he spoke, the Most High, the Great and Kodesh One, and he sent Azrael to the son of Lamech, saying, Tell him, in my name, Hashem, hide yourself and reveal to him the end of what is coming. For the earth and everything will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the earth, and all that is in it will be destroyed. And now instruct him in order, that he may flee, and his seed will be preserved for all generations. And secondly, Yahweh said to Raphael, Bind Azazel, hand and foot, and throw him into the darkness. And he made a hole in the desert, which was Dudael, and cast him there. He threw on top of him rugged and sharp rocks, and he covered his face in order that he might not see, and in order that he may be sent into the fire on the great day of judgment. And give life to the earth which the angels have corrupted, and he will proclaim life from the earth, and that he is giving life to her, and all the children of the people will not perish through all the secrets of the angels, which they taught their sons. And the whole earth has become corrupted by Azazel's teaching and his own actions, and write upon him all sin. And Gabriel, Yahweh, said, Proceed against the bastards and the reproach and against the children of adultery, and destroy the children of adultery, and expel the children of the watchers from among the people, and send them against one another, so that they may be destroyed in the fight, for the length of days have they not. They will beg you everything for their fathers, on behalf of themselves, because they hope to live in eternal life. They hope that each one of them will live a period of 500 years. And to Michael, Yahweh said, Make known to Semyazah and the others who are with him, who fornicated with the women, that they will die together with them in all their defilement, and they and all their children have battled with each other. And when they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them for 70 generations underneath the rocks of the ground, until the day of their judgment, and of the consummation, until the eternal judgment is concluded. In those days they will lead them into the bottom of the fire, and in the torment in the prison they will be locked forever. And at that time they will burn and die. Those who collaborated with them will be bound together with them, and henceforth unto the end of all generations, and destroy all the souls of pleasure, and the children of the watchers, for they have done injustice to man. Destroy the injustice from the face of the earth, and every iniquitous deed will end, and the plant of righteousness and truth will appear forever, and he will plant joy. And then all the righteous ones will escape and become the living ones, until they multiply and become tens of thousands, and all the days of their youth and the years of their retirement they will complete in peace. And in those days the whole earth will be worked in righteousness, all of here planted with trees, and will find blessing. And they shall plant pleasant trees upon her vines, and he who plants a vine upon her will produce wine for plenitude. And every seed that is sown on her, 1 measure will yield 1,000 measures, and 1 measure of olive will yield 10 measures of presses of oil. And you cleanse the earth from all injustice, and from all defilement, and from all oppression, and from all sin, and from all iniquity, which is being done on earth, remove them from the earth. And all the children of this people will become righteous, and all nations shall worship me and bless me, and they will prostrate themselves to me. And the earth shall be cleansed from all pollution, and from all sin, and from all plague, and from all suffering. And it shall not happen again that I shall send these upon the earth from generation to generation. Enoch, chapter 11. And in those days I shall open the storm rooms of blessings, which are in the heavens, so that I shall send them down upon the earth, over the work and the toil of the children of man. And peace and truth shall become partners together in all the days of the world, and in all the generations of the world. Enoch, chapter 12. Dream, vision of Enoch, in the intercession for the fallen angels. Before these things happened, Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of the people knew by what he was hidden and where he was. And his dwelling place, as well as his activities, were with the watchers and the Kodesh ones, and so were his days. And I, Enoch, began to bless Yahweh of the mighty ones and the king, Melech, of the universe, Melech Tezavot. At that moment the watchers were calling me, and they said to me, Hanoch, scribe of righteousness, go and make known to the watchers of the heavens who have abandoned the high heaven, the Kodesh external place, and have defiled themselves with women, as their deeds move the children of the world, and have taken unto themselves wives. They have defiled themselves with great defilement upon the earth. Neither will there be peace unto them, nor the forgiveness of sin. For their children delight in seeing the murder of the beloved ones. But they shall groan and beg forever over the destruction of their children, and there shall not be peace unto them ever forever. Enoch 13. His intercession for Azazel. As for Enoch, he proceeded, and said to Azazel, There will not be peace unto you. A grave judgment has come upon you. They will put you in bonds, and you will not have an opportunity for rest and supplication, because you have taught injustice, and because you have shown to the people deeds of shame, injustice, and sin. Then I went and spoke to all of them together, and they were all frightened, and fear and trembling seized them. And they begged me to write for them a memorial prayer, in order that there may be for them a prayer of forgiveness, and so that I may raise their memorial prayer unto Yahweh of heaven. For as for themselves, from henceforth they will not be able to speak, nor will they rise their eyes unto heaven, as a result of their sins, which have been condemned. And I wrote down their memorial prayer and their petition on behalf of their spirits, and the deeds of each one of them, on account of the fact they have prayed in order that they may be forgiven of sin, and the length of days. And I went and sat down upon the waters of Dan, in Dan, when on the southwest of Hermon. I read their memorial prayers until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell upon me, and I saw a vision of plague, so that I may speak to the children of heaven, and reprimand them. And upon my awakening I came unto them, while they were all conferring together, in Les Yael, which is located between Lebanon and Sansar, while weeping and with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions of which I had seen in sleep, and began to speak these words of righteousness, and to reprimand the watchers of heaven. Enoch, chapter 14. Enoch reprimands the watchers of heaven. This is the book of the words of righteousness, and the chastisement of the eternal watchers, in accordance with how Yahweh, the Kodesh and Great One, had commanded in the vision. I saw in my sleep that I now speak with my tongue and the flesh and the breath of my mouth, which Yahweh, the Great One, has given to man, so that he may speak with it, and so that he may have understanding with his heart, as Yahweh, the Great Echad, has created and given it to man. Accordingly, he has created me, and given me the word of understanding, so that I may reprimand the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote down your prayers, so it appeared in visions, for your prayers will not be heard throughout all the days of eternity, and judgment is passed upon you. From now on you will not be able to ascend into heaven until all eternity, but you shall remain inside the earth, imprisoned all the days of eternity. Therefore, before that you will have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you will not have their treasures, which will fall before your eyes with a sword. And your petitions on behalf will not be heard, neither will those on your behalf which you offer, weeping and praying, and you will not speak even a word contained in the book which I wrote. Enoch's vision. And behold, I saw the clouds, and they were calling me in a vision, and the frogs were calling me, and the course of stars and the lightning were rushing me and causing me to desire, and in the vision the winds were causing me to fly and rushing me high up into heaven. And I kept coming into heaven until I approached the wall which was built of white marble and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to frighten me. And I came unto the tongues of fire, and drew near to the great house which was built of the white marble, and the inner walls were like mosaics of white marble, the floors of crystal, the ceilings like the path of the stars, and lightnings, between which stood cherubim, and their heaven of water. And the flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its gates were burning with fire. And I entered into the house, which was hot like fire, and cold like ice, and there was nothing inside it. So fear covered me, and trembling seized me. And as I shook, and as I trembled, I fell upon my face, and saw a vision. And behold, there was an opening before me, and a second house, which is greater than the former, and everything was built with tongues of fire, and in every respect it excelled the other, in splendor and great honor, to the extent that it was impossible for me to recount to you concerning its majesty and greatness. As for its floor, it was of fire, and above was lightning and the path of the stars, and as for the ceiling, it was a flaming fire. And I observed, and saw inside a lofty throne. Its appearance was like crystal, and its wheels like the shining sun. And I heard the voice of the cherubim, and from beneath one throne were issuing streams of flaming fire. It was difficult to look at. And Yahweh, the great majesty, was sitting upon it. As for his gown, which was shining more brightly than the sun, it was whiter than any snow. None of the angels was able to come in and see the face of the excellent, the splendid one, and no one of the flesh came to see him. The flaming fire was round about him, and the great fire stood before him. No one could come near him from among these that surrounded the tens of millions that stood before him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire before him. He needed no counsel, but the most Kodesh ones who are near him neither go far away at night, nor move away from him. Until then I was prostrate on my face, covered and trembling. And Yahweh called me with his own mouth, and said to me, Come near to me, Enoch, and to my Kodesh word. And he lifted me up, and brought me near to the gate. But I continued to look down with my face. Enoch, chapter 15. Enoch intercedes to Yahweh for the watchers of heaven and their judgment. But he raised me up and said to me with his voice, Enoch. I then heard, Do not fear, Enoch, righteous man Zadok, scribe of Zadok righteousness. Come near to me, and hear my voice. And tell the watchers of heaven on whose behalf you have been sent to intercede. It is meet for you that you intercede on behalf of man, and not man on your behalf. For what reason have you abandoned the high Kodesh, the eternal heaven, and slept with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of the people, taking wives acting like the children of the earth, and begetting giant sons? Surely you used to be Kodesh, spiritual, the living ones, possessing eternal life, but now you have defiled yourselves with women, and with the blood of the flesh begotten children. You have lusted with the blood of the people, like them, producing blood and flesh which die and perish. On that account I have given you wives in order, that seeds might be sown upon them and children born by them, so that the deeds are done upon the earth will not be withheld from you. Indeed, you formerly were spiritual, having eternal life, and immortal in all the generations of the world. That is why formerly I did not make wives for you, for the dwelling of the spiritual beings is heaven. But now the giants who are born from the union of the spirits and the flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, because their dwelling shall be upon the earth and inside the earth. Evil spirits have come out of their bodies, because from the day that they were created, from the Kodesh ones they became the watchers. Their first origin is the spiritual foundation. They will become evil upon the earth, and shall be called evil spirits, and dwelling of the spiritual beings of heaven is heaven. But the dwelling of the spirits of the earth, which are born upon the earth, is in the earth. The spirits of the giants oppress each other. They will corrupt, fall, be excited, and fall upon the earth and cause sorrow. They eat no food, nor become thirsty, nor find obstacles. And these spirits shall rise upon against the children of the people, and against the women, because they have proceeded forth from them. Enoch, chapter 16, destruction and death of the giants, and there will be no shalom. from the days of the slaughter and the destruction of the death of the giants, and the spiritual beings of the spirit and the flesh from which they have proceeded forth, which will corrupt without incurring judgment. They will corrupt until the day of the great conclusion, until the great age is commenced, until everything is concluded upon the watchers and the wicked ones. And so to the watchers on whose behalf you have been sent to intercede, who were formerly in heaven, say to them, you were once in heaven, but all the mysteries of heaven are open to you, and you only know the rejected mysteries, those ones who have broadcast to the women in the hardness of their hearts, and by those mysteries the women and men multiply evil deeds upon the earth. Tell them, therefore you will have no shalom. Enoch, chapter 7, Enoch's tour on the earth and Sheol, the first journey. And they lifted me up into one place, where there were the ones like the flaming fire, and when they so desire they appear like men. And they took me up into a place of a whirlwind in the mountain, and the top of its summit, which reaching into heaven. And I saw chambers of light and thunder in the ultimate end of the earth, towards the place where the bow and the arrow and the quiver and the fiery sword and all the lightnings were. And they lifted me up into the waters of life, unto the Ox fire, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to the river of fire, which flows like water and empties itself into the great sea in the direction of the west. And I saw all the great rivers which reached to the great darkness, and went into the place where all flesh must walk cautiously. And I saw the mountains of the dark storms of the rainy season, and from where the waters of all the seas flowed. And I saw the mouths of the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the sea. Enoch, chapter 18, the cornerstone of the earth, and the storerooms of all the winds. And I saw the storerooms of all the winds, and saw how that with them he has embroidered all creation, as well as the foundations of the earth. I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth, as well as the firmament of heaven. And I saw how the winds ride the heights of heaven, and stand between heaven and earth. These are the very pillars of heaven. I saw the winds which turn the heavens, and cause the star to set the sun, as well as all the stars. I saw the souls carried by the clouds. I saw the path of the angels in the ultimate end of the earth, and the firmament of the heaven above. And I kept moving in the direction of the west, and it was flaming day and night towards the 7 mountains of the precious stones, 3 toward the east, and 3 towards the south. And as for those towards the east, they were of colored stones, one of the pearl stones, and one of the healing stones. As for those towards the south, they were of red stone. The ones in the middle were pressing into heaven like the throne of Yahweh, which is of alabaster, and whose summit is of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire. And I saw what was inside those mountains, a place beyond the great earth where the heavens come together. And I saw a deep pit with heavenly fire on its pillars. I saw inside them descending pillars of fire that were immeasurable in respect to both altitude and depth. And I saw, and on the top of that pit I saw a place without the heavenly firmament, above it, or earthly foundation under it, or of water. There was nothing on it, not even birds, but it was a desolate, horrible place. And I saw there the 7 stars which were like great, burning mountains. And then the Malak, angel, said to me, this place is the ultimate end of heaven and earth. It is the prison house for the stars and the powers of heaven. And the stars which roll over upon the fire, they are the ones which have transgressed the commandments of Yahweh from the beginning of their rising, because they did not arrive punctually. And he was wroth with them, and bound them until the time of the completion of their sins in the year of mystery. Enoch chapter 9, the appearance of the spirits of the angels who led the people into error. And Uriel said to me, here stand in many different appearances the spirits of the angels which have united themselves with women. They have defiled the people, and will lead them into error, so that they will offer sacrifice to demons as unto gods, until the great day of judgment, in which they shall be judged till they are finished. And their women upon thee, whom the angels have led astray, will be peaceful ones. So I, Enoch, I saw the vision of the end of everything alone, and none among human beings will see as I have seen. Enoch chapter 20, the names of the archangels. And these are the names of the Kodesh malakim, whom watch. Suruel, one of the Kodesh malakim, for he is of eternity and of trembling. Raphael, one of the Kodesh malakim, for he is of the spirits of man. Raguel, one of the Kodesh malakim, who take vengeance for the world and for the luminaries. Mikael, one of the Kodesh malakim, for he is obedient in his benevolence over the people and the nations. Serachiel, one of the Kodesh malakim, whom is set over the spirits of mankind who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the Kodesh malakim, who oversees the garden of Eden, and the serpents and the cherubim. Enoch, chapter 21. Enoch's second journey, preliminary and the final place of punishment of the fallen stars. And came to an empty place, and I saw there neither a heaven above nor an earth below, but a chaotic and terrible place. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound together in it, like great mountains, and burning with fire. And at that moment I said, For which sin are they bound, and for what reason were they cast in here? Then one of the Kodesh malakim, Uriel, who was with me, guiding me, spoke to me, and said to me, Enoch, for what reason are you asking? And for what reason do you question and exhibit eagerness? These are among the stars of heaven which are transgressed by the commandments of Yahweh, and are bound in this place until the completion of 10 million years, according to the number of their sins. Then I proceeded from that area to another place, which is even more terrible, and I saw a terrible thing, a great fire that was burning and flaming. The place had a cleavage that extended to the last sea, pouring out great pillars of fire. Neither its extent nor its magnitude could see, nor was being able to estimate. At that moment, what a terrible opening is this place, and a pain to look at. Then Uriel, one of the Kodesh malakim who was with me, responded to me, Enoch, why are you afraid like this? I answered and said, I am frightened because of this terrible place and the spectacle of this painful thing. And he said unto me, This place is the prison house of angels. They are detained here forever. Enoch, chapter 22, the gathering of souls till the day of judgment. Then I went to another place, and he showed me on the west side a great and high mountain of hard rock, and inside it 4 beautiful corners. It had in it a deep, wide, and smooth thing which was rolling over, and it was a place, the place was deep and dark to look at. At that moment, Raphael, one of the Kodesh malakim, who was with me, responded to me, and he said to me, These beautiful corners are here in order that the spirits of the soul of the dead should assemble into them. They are created so that the souls of the children of the people should gather here. They prepared this place in order to put them, the souls of the dead, should be assembled unto them. They are created so that the souls of the children of the people should gather here. They prepared these places in order to put them, the souls of the people, there until the day of judgment, and the appointed time of the great judgment upon them. I saw the spirits of the children of the people who were dead, and their voices were reaching unto heaven until this very moment. I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and said to him, The spirit, the voice of which is reaching into heaven like this, and is making suit, whose spirit is it? And he answered me, saying, This is the spirit which had left Abel, whom Cain, his brother, had killed. It continued to sue him until all of Cain's seeds is exterminated from the face of the earth, and his seed has disintegrated from among the seed of the people. At that moment I raised a question regarding him and regarding the judgment of all. For what reason is one separated from another? And he replied and said to me, These 3 have been made, in order that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and in the manner in which the souls of the righteous are separated by this spring of water with light upon it. In like manner the sinners are set apart when they die, and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed upon them in their lifetimes. Upon this great pain, until the great day of judgment, Acharet Ha'amim, and to those who curse there will be plague and pain forever, and the retribution of their spirits, they will bind them there forever, even if from the beginning of the world. And in this manner is a separation made for the souls of those who make the suit, and those who describe discerning destruction, as they were killed in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the souls of the people who are not righteous, but sinners and perfect criminals. They shall be together with other criminals who are like them, whose souls will not be killed on the day of judgment, but will not rise from there. At that moment I blessed Yahweh of splendor, and I said, Baruch, blessed be my sovereign ruler, Yahweh, of righteousness, Tzadok, who rules forever, Le'olam Va'ed. Enoch, chapter 23, the fire of the luminaries of heaven. And from there I departed, and went to another place in the direction of the west, until the extreme ends of the earth. And I saw a burning fire which was running without the rest, and it did not diminish its speed night and day. And I asked, saying, What is this thing which has no rest? And at that moment Raguel, one of the Kodesh malakim, who was with me, answered me and said, This thing which you saw is the course of the fire, and this, the fire which is burning in a direction of the west, is the luminaries of heaven. Enoch 24, the 7 mountains of the northwest, and the tree of life. From there I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain of fire which was flaming day and night. And when I went in its direction and saw 7 defined mountains, all different one from another, of precious and beautiful stones, and all dignified and splendid in respect to their visualization, and beautiful in respect to their facade, 3 in the direction of the east, 1 founded on the other, and 3 in the direction of the north, 1 upon the other, with deep and crooked ravines, each one of which is removed from the other. The 7 mountains were situated in the midst of these ravines, and in respect to their heights, and resembled the seat of the throne, which is surrounded by fragrant trees. And among them there was one tree, such as I have never at all smelled. There was not a single one among the others which is like it. Among all the fragrances, nothing could be so fragrant. Its leaves, its flowers, its wood would never wither forever. Its fruit is beautiful and resembles the clusters of fruit of a palm tree. At that moment I said, "This is a beautiful tree, beautiful to view, with leaves so handsome and blossoms so magnificent in appearance." Then Michael, one of the Kodesh, the revered malakim, who is the chief who was with me, responded to me. Enoch 25, the kingdom of Yahweh and the reward of the righteous and chesed. And he said unto me, "Enoch, what is it that you are asking me concerning the fragrance of this tree, and you are so inquisitive about?" At that moment I answered, saying, "I am desirous of knowing everything, but especially about this thing." And he answered, saying, "This tall mountain which you saw, whose summit resembles the throne of Yahweh, is indeed his throne, on which the Kodesh and great sovereign, ruler of majesty, the eternal king, will sit when he descends to visit the earth with goodness. And as for the fragrant tree, not a single human being has the authority to touch it until the great judgment, which he shall take vengeance on all and conclude everything forever. This is for the righteous and the chesed, and the elect will be presented with its fruit for life. He will plant it in the direction of the northeast, upon the Kodesh place, in the direction of the house of Yahweh, the eternal king. Then they shall be glad and rejoice in gladness, and they shall enter into the Kadosh place. Its fragrance shall penetrate their bones. Long life they live on earth, such as your fathers lived in their days." At that moment I blessed Yahweh of hosts of majesty, the Melech Leolam, eternal king, for he has prepared such things for the righteous people, as he had created them and given it to them. Hanoch 26, Yerushalayim and its surroundings. And from there I went to the center of the earth, and saw a blessed place shaded with branches, which live and bloom from a tree that was cut. And there I saw the Kodesh mountain. Underneath the mountain, in the direction of the east, there was a stream which was flowing in the direction of the north. And I saw in a second direction another mountain, which was higher than the former. Between them was a deep and narrow valley. In the direction of the latter mountain ran a stream. In the direction of the west, from this one there was yet another mountain smaller than it, and not so high, with a valley under it, and between them, besides, another valley which is deep and dry. The valleys were narrow, formed of hard rock, and no tree growing on them, as I marveled at the mountains, and I marveled at the valleys, and I marveled greatly. Enoch 27, the accursed valley. At that moment I said, "For what purpose does this blessed land, entirely filled with trees, have in its midst this accursed valley?" Then Uriel, one of the Kodesh malakim, who was with me, answered me and said to me, "This accursed valley is for those accursed forever. Here will gather together all those accursed ones, those who speak with their mouths unbecoming words against Yahweh, and utter hard words concerning his splendor. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their judgment in the Acharet Ha'amim, the last days. There will be upon them the spectacle of righteous judgment. In the presence of the righteous forever, the merciful will bless Yahweh of splendor, the eternal king, and all the day. In the days of the judgment of the accursed, the merciful shall bless him for the mercy which he had bestowed upon them. At that moment I blessed Yahweh the splendor, and gave him the praise that befits his majesty." Enoch 28, journey to the east. And from there I went in the direction of the east, into the center of the mountain of the desert, and I saw the wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and seeds, and there was a stream on top of it, and it gushed forth above it. It appeared like a waterfall which cascaded greatly, as if toward the direction of the northwest water. The dew ascended from it all over. Chapter 29, the tree of judgment. Then I went into another place in the desert, and I approached an easterly direction of this mountain, and there I saw the tree of judgment, which was the smell of rubbish. Its tree looked like that of frankincense and myrrh. Enoch 30, a beautiful tree and a fragrant cinnamon tree. And beyond it, beyond those above the easterly mountain, it is not far, and I saw a place which is a valley of water that is endless. And I saw a beautiful tree which resembles a tree whose fragrance is like that of mastic. And in the direction of the sides of those valleys I saw a fragrant cinnamon tree, and over these I proceeded in the easterly direction. Enoch 31. Mountains with trees. And I saw other mountains with trees in them. There flowed from them the trees something like nectar, called Sarara and Galbanum. And over these mountains I saw yet another mountain, and in it there were aloe trees, and the whole forest was full of trees like sturdy almond trees, and when one picks one of the fruit, it gives the most pleasant odor. Enoch 32, the garden of righteousness and the tree of wisdom. And after experiencing this fragrant odor, while looking towards the northeast over the mountain, I saw 7 mountains full of excellent nard, fragrant trees, cinnamon trees, and pepper. From there I went over the summits of the mountain, far toward the east of the earth. I then passed over the Erythraean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the head of Malach Zutuel. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and saw beyond those trees many other large ones growing there, their fragrance sweet, large ones, with much elegance and splendor, and the trees of wisdom, of which one eats, and knows great wisdom was among them. It looked like the colors of the carob tree, its fruit like the beautiful grape clusters, and the fragrance of this tree travels and reaches afar. And I said, this tree is beautiful, and its appearance beautiful and pleasant. Then the Kodesh malakim Raphael, who was with me, responded to me and said, this very thing is the tree of wisdom, from which your old father and aged mother, they who were the precursors, ate and came to know wisdom, and consequently their eyes were opened, and they realized that they were naked, and so they were expelled from the garden. Enoch 33, the gates of heaven. And from there I went to the extreme ends of the earth, and saw there huge beasts, each different from the other, and different birds, also offering one another in appearance, beauty, and voice. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ultimate ends of the earth, which rests on the heaven. And the gates of heaven were open, and I saw how the stars of heaven came out. And I counted the gate out of which they exit, and wrote down all their exits, for each one, according to their numbers, their names, their ranks, their seats, their periods, their months, as Uriel, the Kodesh angel who was with me, showed me. He showed me all things, and wrote them down for me. Also, in addition, he wrote down their names, their laws, and their companies. Enoch 34, the journey to the north. From there I went in the direction of the north, to the extreme ends of the earth, and there at the extreme end of the world I saw a great and magnificent seat. There also I saw 3 gates of heaven, when it blows cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. Through each one of the gates the wind proceeds in the northwest direction. Through one gate they blow good things, but when they blow with force through the 2 other gates, they blow violence and sorrow upon the earth. Enoch 35, journey to the west. And from there I went in the direction of the west, to the extreme ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open gates of heaven, just like the one I saw in the east, in respect to the number of its exits. Enoch 36, journey to the south. And from there I went in the direction of the south to the extreme ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open gates of the heaven, from where the south wind, dew, rain, and the wind come from. From there I went in the direction of the extreme ends of the heaven, and saw there open gates of heaven, which with small gates above them in the direction of the east. Through one of these small gates pass the stars of heaven, and travel westward in the path which is shown to them. And when I saw this, I blessed, and I shall always bless Yahweh of majesty, who performed great and blessed miracles, in order that he may manifest his great deeds to his malakim the winds, and to the peoples, so that they might praise the effect of all his creation, so that they might see the effect of his power and esteem, and praise him in respect to the great work of his hands, and bless him forever. The end of the book of Hanoch. second book of Hanoch. Hanoch, Enoch, 37. The vision which Enoch saw the second time, the vision of wisdom which Enoch, son of Yerad, son of Mahaliel, son of Canaan, son of Enosh, son of Seth, son of Adam, saw. This is the beginning of the words of wisdom which I commanded to propound, saying to those who dwell in the earth, listen, you first ones, and look, you last ones, the words of the Kodesh Echad, which I teach before Yahweh of hosts. It is good to declare these words to those of former times, but I should not withhold the beginning of wisdom from those of latter days. Until now such wisdom which I have received, as I recited it in accordance to the will of Yahweh Tezavot, Yahweh of hosts, had not been bestowed upon me before the face of Yahweh of hosts. From him the lot of eternal life has been given to me. 3 things were imparted to me, and I began to recount them to those who dwell upon the earth. Enoch 38, the coming judgment of the wicked. The first thing, when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, sinners shall be judged for their sins. They shall be driven from the face of the earth. And when the righteous one shall appear, before the face of the righteous, those elect ones, their deeds are hung upon Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Tezavot. He shall reveal light to the righteous and the elect who dwell upon the earth. Where will the dwelling of the sinners be? And where the resting place of those who denied the name of Yahweh, of the spirits, Ruach? It would have been better for them to have not been born. When the secrets of the righteous one are revealed, he shall judge the sinners, and the wicked ones will be driven from the presence of the righteous and the elect. And from that time those who possess the earth will neither be rulers nor princes. They shall not be able to behold the faces of the Kodesh ones. For the light of Yahweh Tezavot has shined upon the face of the Kodesh, the set-apart ones, the righteous and the elect. At that moment kings and rulers shall perish. They shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous and Kodesh ones. And from thenceforth no one shall be able to induce Yahweh Tezavot to show them mercy, for their life is annihilated. Enoch 39, the home of the righteous. And it shall come to pass in those days that the children of the elect and the Kodesh ones will descend from the high heaven, and their seed will become one with the children of the people. And in those days Enoch received the books of zeal and wrath, as well as the books of haste and whirlwind. The sovereign ruler of the spirits says that mercy shall not be upon them. In those days whirlwinds carried me off from the earth, and set me down into the ultimate ends of the heaven. There I saw other dwelling places of the Kodesh ones, and their resting places too. So there my eyes saw their dwelling places with the Kodesh malakim, and their resting places with the Kodesh ones, and they interceded and petitioned and prayed on behalf of the children of the people. And righteousness, Sadah, flowed before them like water, and hesed, mercy, like dew upon the earth, and thus it is in their midst forever and ever, Elam Va'ed. And in those days my eyes saw the elect one of righteousness and faith, and righteousness shall prevail in his days, and the righteousness of the elect one shall be without number before him forever and ever. And I saw a dwelling place underneath the wings of Yahweh of hosts, and all the generations of the elect before him shall be as intense as the light of fire. Their mouth shall be full of blessings, and their lips will praise Hashem, the name of Yahweh of hosts. And righteousness be him will have no end, and uprightness before him will not cease. There underneath his wings I wanted to dwell, and my soul desired the dwelling place. Already my portion is there, for it has been reserved for me before Yahweh Tezavot. In those days I praised and prayed in the name of Yahweh Tezavot, Yahweh of hosts, with blessings and praises, for he strengthened me by blessing and praising in accordance with the will of Yahweh Tezavot. And I gazed at that place under his wing, and I blessed and praised, saying, blessed is he, that he may be blessed from the beginning and forevermore, Le'olam Va'ed. There is no such thing as non-existence before him. Even before the world was created, he knows what is forever and what will be from generation to generation. Those who do not slumber but stand before your splendor did bless you. They shall so bless, praise, and extol you, saying, Kodesh, 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 Yud-He-Vav-He, Yahweh of hosts. The Spirit, your Ruach, fills the earth, Yahweh Tezavot. And at that place under his wings my eyes saw others who stood before him sleepless and blessed him, saying, Baruch Hashem, Yahweh Tezavot, Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed are you, and blessed is the name of Yahweh of hosts forever and ever. And my face was changed on account of the fact that I could not withstand the sight. Enoch chapter 40, the 4 wings of Yahweh and the 4 malakim. And after that I saw 100,000 times 100,000 10,000,000 times 10,000,000, an innumerable and uncountable multitude who stand before the splendor of Yahweh Tezavot, Yahweh of hosts. I saw them standing on the 4 wings of Yahweh of hosts, and saw the 4 other faces among those who do not slumber, and I came to know their names, which the Malak who came with me to revealed. And he also showed me all the hidden things. Then I heard the voices of those 4 faces, while they were saying praises before Yahweh of splendor. And the first voice was the blessing, the name of Yahweh of hosts. The second voice I heard blessing the elect ones, and the elect ones who are clinging into Yahweh Tezavot. And the third voice I heard interceding and praying on behalf of those who dwell upon the earth, and supplicating in the name of Yahweh of hosts. And the fourth voice I heard expelling the demons, and forbidding them from coming to Yahweh of hosts, in order to accuse those who dwell upon the earth. And after that I asked the Malak of Shalom, who was going with me, and showed me everything that was hidden. Who are these 4 faces which I have seen, and those whose voices I have heard and written down? And he said to me, the first one is the merciful and forbearing Michael. The second one, who is set over all disease and every wound of the children of the people, is Raphael. The third, who is set over all exercise of strength, is Gabriel. And the fourth, who is set over the actions of repentance upon the hope of those who would inherit eternal life, is Phanuel by name. So these are his 4 malakim. They are of Yahweh Tezavot, and the 4 voices which I heard in those days. Enoch 41, Yahweh of hosts, and the 4 voices which I heard those days. And after that I saw all the secrets in heaven, and how a kingdom breaks up, and how the actions of a people are weighed in the balance. And there I saw the dwelling place of the sinners, and the company of the Kodesh ones, those set apart. And my eyes saw the sinners, those who deny the name of Yahweh Tezavot, Yahweh of hosts, being expelled from there and being dragged off, and they could not stand still because of the plague which proceeds forth from Yahweh Tezavot. And there my eyes saw the secrets of lightning and thunder, and the mysteries of the winds, how they are distributed in order to blow upon the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and the dew. I saw there from where they proceeded in that place, and how from there they satate the dust of the earth. At that place I saw sealed storerooms, from which the winds of the storerooms of hail and the winds of the storerooms of the midst are distributed, and the clouds hover over the earth from the beginning of the world. And I saw the storerooms of the sun and the moon, from what place they came out of, to which place they return, and their splendid return, how in the travel one festival is celebrated more than the other. They do not depart from their orbit, neither increase nor decrease it, but they keep faith one with another in accordance with an oath. They set and they rise. From the first is the sun, and it executes its course in accordance with the commandments of Yahweh of hosts. His name shall persist forever and ever. And that is found both the hidden and the visible path of the moon, and the path of its orbit it completes by day and by night at that place, and the 2 will gaze directly into the splendor of Yahweh of hosts. They give thanks, they praise, and they do not economize on energy, for their very essence generates new power. Surely the many changes of the sun have both a blessing and a curse, and the course of the moon's path is light to the righteous on the one hand, and darkness to the sinners on the other. In the name of Yahweh of hosts, who created the distinction between light and darkness, and separated the spirits of people, and strengthened the spirits of the righteous in the name of his righteousness, Zadok. Surely neither an malakim nor Satan has the power to hinder, for there is a judgment to all of them. He will glance, and all of them are before him. He is the judge. Wisdom could not find a place in which she could dwell, but a place was found for her in the heavens. When wisdom went out to dwell with the children of people, but she found no dwelling place. So wisdom returned to her place, and she settled permanently among the malakim. Then inquiry went out of her rooms, and found whom she did not expect, and she dwelt with them, like rain in the desert, like dew on a thirsty land. Enoch 43. More secrets of the cosmos. And I saw other lightnings and stars of the heaven, and I saw how he called them each by their respective names, and they obeyed him. And I saw the impartial scales of the purpose of the balancing, their lights at their widest areas, and their natures are as follows. The revolutions produce lightnings, and in number they are as many as the malakim. They keep their faith, each one according to their names. And I asked the Malak, who was going with me, and who was shown me the secret things? What are these things? And he said to me, Yahweh Tezavot has shown you the prototype of each one of them. These are the names of the Kodesh ones who dwell upon the earth and believe in the name of Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Tezavot, forever and ever, Leolam Va'ed. Enoch 44. And I saw another thing regarding lightning, how some stars arise and become lightning and cannot dwell with the rest. Enoch 45. Lot of unbelievers, new heavens and new earth. This is the second parable concerning those who deny the name of Yahweh of hosts and the congregation of the Kodesh ones. Neither they will ascend into heaven, nor will they reach the ground. Such will be the lot of the sinners who will deny the name of Yahweh Tezavot. Those who in this manner will be preserved for the day of burden and tribulation. On that day my elect one shall sit on the seat of splendor, and make a selection of their deeds. Their resting places will be without number. Their soul shall be with them when they see my elect one, Echad, those who have appealed to my splendid name. On that day I shall cause my elect on to dwell among them. I shall transform heaven and make it a blessing of light forever. And I shall also transform the earth and make it a blessing, and cause my elect one to dwell in her. Then those who have committed sin and crime shall set foot in her. For in shalom I have looked with favor upon my righteous ones, and given them mercy, and have caused them to dwell before me. But sinners have come before me, so that by judgment I shall destroy them from before the face of the earth. Enoch 46. The son of man, Adam, to whom belongs righteousness, and with whom righteousness dwells. At that place I saw the one, Echad, to whom belongs time before time. And his head was as white like wool, and there was like him another individual, whose face was like that of a human being. His countenance was full of splendor, like the one among the Kodesh malakim. And I asked the one from among the malakim who was going with me, and who had revealed to me all the secrets regarding the one who was born of human beings, who is this, and from whence is he who is going as the prototype of the before time, Alef? And he answered me and said to me, This is the son of Adam, son of man, to whom belongs righteousness, and with him righteousness dwells, and he will open all the hidden storerooms, for Yahweh Tezavot has chosen him, and he is destined to be victorious before Yahweh Tezavot in eternal uprightness. This is the son of man, Adam, who you have seen is the Echad, the one who would remove the kings and the mighty ones from their comfortable seats, and the strong ones from their thrones. He shall loose the reins of the strong and crush the teeth of the sinners. He shall depose the kings from their thrones and kingdoms, for they do not extol and magnify him, and neither do they obey him, the source of their kingship. The faces of the strong will be slapped, and be filled with shame and gloom. Their dwelling places and their beds will be worms. They shall have no hope to rise from their beds, for they do not extol the name of Yahweh Tezavot. And they have become the judges of the stars of heaven. They shall raise their hands to reach Yahweh the Most High, while walking on the earth and dwell in her. They manifest all their deeds in oppression. All their deeds are in oppression. Their power depends upon their wealth, and their devotion is to the gods, which they have fashioned with their own hands. But they deny the name of Yahweh of hosts, Tezavot. Yet they like to congregate in his houses, and with the faithful ones who cling to Yahweh Tezavot. Enoch 47. Prayers of the righteous. In those days the prayers of the righteous ascend into heaven, and the blood of the righteous from the earth before Yahweh Tezavot. There shall be days when all the Kodesh ones who dwell in the heavens above shall dwell together, and with one voice they shall supplicate and pray, magnifying, praising, Baruch, and blessing the name of Yahweh Tezavot, on behalf of the blood of the righteous ones who has been shed. Their prayer shall not stop from exhaustion before Yahweh of hosts, neither will they relax forever until judgment is executed for them. In those days I saw him, the antecedent one of time, while he was sitting upon the throne of his splendor, and the books of the living ones were opened before him, and all his power in heaven above and his escorts stood before him. The hearts of the Kodesh ones are filled with joy, because the number of the righteous has been offered. The prayers of the righteous ones have been heard, and the blood of the righteous has been admitted before Yahweh Tezavot. Enoch 48. The son of man, the antecedent of time, his judgment. Furthermore, in that place I saw the fountain of righteousness, which does not become depleted and is surrounded completely by numerous fountains of wisdom. All the thirsty ones drink of the water and become filled with wisdom. Then their dwelling places become with the Kodesh, righteous and the elect ones. At that hour, the son of Adam was given a name in the presence of Yahweh of hosts. The before time, even before the creation of the sun, before the creation of the stars, he was given a name in the presence of Yahweh Tezavot. He will become a staff for the righteous ones, in order that they may learn on him and not fall. He is the light of the Gentiles, and he will become the hope of those who are sick in their hearts. All those who dwell upon the earth shall fall and worship before him. They shall magnify, bless, and sing the name of Yahweh Tezavot. For this purpose he became the chosen one, Echad. He was concealed in the presence of Yahweh of hosts prior to the creation of the world, and for eternity. And he has revealed the wisdom of Yahweh of hosts, of the righteous and the Kodesh ones, for he has preserved the portion of the righteous, because they have hated and despised this world of oppression together in all its ways of life and its inhabitants, in the name of Yahweh Tezavot, and because they will be saved in his name, and it is good pleasure that they have life. In those days the kings of the earth, and the mighty ones, and the mighty landowners shall be humiliated, on account of the deeds of their own hands. Therefore, on the day of their misery and weariness, they will not be able to save themselves. I shall deliver them into the hands of my elect ones like grass in the fire, and like lead in the water. So they shall burn before the face of the Kodesh ones, and sink before their sight, and no place will be found for them. On that day of their weariness, there shall be an obstacle on the earth, and that they shall fall on their faces, and they shall not rise up again, nor anyone be found who will take them with his hand and raise them up. For they have denied Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh Tezavot, and his Messiah. Blessed be the name of Yahweh Tezavot, Hashem. Enoch 49. Wisdom and the power of the elect one. So wisdom flows like water, and majesty is measureless before him forever and ever, le'elam va'ed. For his might and strength is in all the mysteries of righteousness, and oppression will vanish like a shadow having no foundation. The elect one, Echad, stands before Yahweh Tezavot. His splendor is forever and ever, and his power is unto all generations. In him dwells the spirit of wisdom, the spirit which gives thoughtfulness, the spirit of knowledge and strength, and the Ruach, the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. He shall judge the secret things, and no one will be able to utter vain words in his presence, for he is the elect Echad, the elect one before Yahweh Tezavot, according to his good pleasure. Enoch chapter 50. His mercy and his judgment. In those days there will be change for the Kodesh, and the righteous ones, and the light of day shall rest upon them, and splendor and honor shall be given back to the Kodesh ones on the day of weariness. He heaped evil upon the sinners, but the righteous one shall be victorious in the name of Yahweh Tezavot. He will cause the others to see this, so that they may repent, and forsake their evil deeds of their hands. Therefore shall not be honor unto them in the name of Yahweh of hosts, but through his name they shall be saved, and Yahweh of hosts shall have mercy upon them, for his mercy is considerable. He is righteous in his judgments, and in his splendor that is before him. Oppression cannot survive his judgment, and the unrepentant in his presence shall perish. Yahweh Tezavot has said that from henceforth he will have no mercy on them. Enoch 51. The resurrection of the dead. In those days Sheol will return all the deposits which she had received, and he will give back all which it owes. And he shall choose the righteous and the Kodesh ones from among the risen dead, for the day when they shall be selected and saved has arrived. In those days the set-apart one, the elect Echad, shall sit on my throne, and from the conscience of his mouth shall come out all the secrets of wisdom, for Yahweh of hosts has given them to him and magnified him. In those days mountains shall dance like rams, and the hills shall leap like kids stationed with milk. And the faces of all the malakim in heaven shall glow with joy, because on that day the elect one has arisen. And the earth shall rejoice, and the righteous one shall dwell upon her, and the elect ones shall walk upon her. Enoch 52. The metal mountains. After those days, in the same place where I had seen all the secret visions, having been carried off in a winged vehicle, and taken to the west, my eyes saw there all the secret things of heaven, and the future things. There were mountains of iron, a mountain of copper, and a mountain of silver, and a mountain of gold, a mountain of colored metal, and a mountain of lead. And I asked the malak, who was going with me, saying, What are these things which I have seen in secret? And he said to me, All these things which you have seen happen by the authority of his Messiah, so that he may give orders and be praised upon the earth. Then this malak of shalom answered, saying to me, Wait a little, and all secret things which encircle Yahweh of hosts will be revealed unto you. As for these mountains which you have seen with your own eyes, the mountain of iron, the mountain of copper, the mountain of silver, the mountain of gold, the mountain of colored metal, the mountain of lead, of them, in the presence of the elect one, will become like a honeycomb that melts before fire, like water that gushes down from the top of such mountains, and become helpless at his feet. It shall happen in those days that no one shall be saved either by gold or by silver, and no one shall be able to escape. There shall be no iron for war, nor shall anyone wear a breastplate. Neither bronze nor tin shall be any avail, or be of any value, and there will be no need of lead whatsoever. All these substances will be removed and destroyed from the surface of the earth when the elect one shall appear before the face of Yahweh Tezavot. Enoch 53, the scene of judgment. My eyes saw there a deep valley with a wide mouth, and all those who dwell upon the earth, the sea, and the island shall bring to it gifts, presents, and tributes, yet this deep valley shall not become full. They shall fulfill the criminal deeds of their hands, and eat all the produce of crime, which the sinners toil for. Sinners shall be destroyed from before the face of Yahweh of hosts. They shall perish eternally, standing before the face of his earth. So I saw all the malakim of plague cooperating and preparing all the chains of Hesepon. And I asked the malak of Shalom, who is going with me? For whom are they preparing those chains? And he answered me, saying, they are preparing these for the kings and the potentates of the earth, in order that they may be destroyed thereby. After this, the righteous and elect ones will reveal the house of his congregation. From that time they shall not be hindered in the name of Yahweh Tezavot. And these mountains shall become flat like earth in the presence of his righteousness, and the hills shall become like fountains of water, and the righteous ones shall have shalom, rest from the oppression of sinners. Enoch 54. The great day of judgment of king, potentates, and the armies of Azazel. Then I looked, and turned to another face of the earth, and saw there a valley, deep and burning with fire, and they were bringing kings and potentates, and were throwing them into this deep valley. And my eyes saw there their chains, while they were making them into iron fetters of immense weight. And I asked the malak of Shalom, which was going with me, saying, for whom are these imprisonment chains being prepared? And he said unto me, these are being prepared for the armies of Azazel, in order that they may take them and cast them into the abyss of complete condemnation. And as Yahweh of hosts has commanded it, they shall cover their jaws with rocky stones. Then Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Phunael themselves shall seize them on the great day of judgment, and cast them into the furnace of fire that is burning that day, so that Yahweh Tezavot may take vengeance on them on account of their oppressive deeds, which they performed as messengers of Hasatan, leading astray those who dwell upon the earth. And in those days the punishment of Yahweh of hosts shall be carried out, and they shall open all the storerooms of water in the heavens above, in addition to the foundations of the water which are on the earth. And all the water shall be united with all the other waters. That which is from the heavens above is masculine water, whereas that which is underneath the earth is feminine. And they shall obliterate all those that dwell upon the earth, as well as those that dwell underneath the ultimate ends of the heavens, on account of the fact that they did not recognize their oppressive deeds which they carried out on the earth. They shall be destroyed by flood. Enoch 55. Yahweh puts a sign in the heavens, and it shall become a symbol of the faith between me and them forever. And after that, the antecedent one of time repented, and said, in vain have I destroyed all those who dwell in the earth. And Yahweh swore by his own great name that from henceforth he would not do as he had done to all those who lived upon the earth. And he said, I shall put a sign in the heaven, and it shall become a symbol of faith between me and them forever, as long as heaven is above the earth, which is in accordance with my command. When I would give consent so that they should be seized by the hands of the angels on the day of tribulation and pain, already I have caused my punishment and my wrath to abide upon them. My punishment and my wrath, says YHWH, Yahweh Tezavot. Kings, potentates, dwellers upon the earth, you would have seen my elect one, how he sits in the throne of splendor, and judges Azazel and all his company and his army in the name Hashem, YHWH, Yahweh Tezavot. And then I saw there an army of the malakim of punishment marching, holding nets of iron and bronze. Enoch 56. And I asked the malak of Shalom, who was walking with me, saying to him, to whom are they going, these who are holding the nets? And he said to me, they are going to the elect and the beloved ones, in order that they may cast over the crevices of the abyss of the valley. Then the valley shall be filled with their elect and beloved ones, and the epoch of their lives, the era of their splendor, and the age of their leading others astray shall come to an end, and shall not henceforth be reckoned, the struggle of Israel with its enemies. In those days the angels will assemble and thrust themselves to the east at the Parthenon and Medes. They will shake up the king, so that a spirit of unrest shall come upon them, and stir them up from their thrones. and they will break forth from their beds like lions, and like hungry hyenas among their own flocks. And they will go up and trample upon the land of my elect ones. And the land of my elect one will be before them like a threshing floor or a highway. But the city of my righteous ones will become an obstacle to their horses, and they shall begin to fight among themselves, and by their own right hand they shall prevail against themselves. A man shall not recognize his brother, or a son of his mother, until there shall be a significant number of corpses among them. Their punishment is indeed not in vain. In those days Sheol shall open her mouth, and they shall be swallowed up into it and perish. Thus Sheol shall swallow up the sinners in the presence of the elect ones. Enoch 57. A vision of a whole array of chariots loaded with people advancing upon the air. And it happened afterward that I had another vision of a whole array of chariots loaded with people, and they were advancing upon the air from the east and from the west until midday. And the second of the chariots was clamorous, and when this commotion took place, the Kodesh ones in heaven took notice of it, and the pillars of the earth were shaken from their foundation, and the sound of the noise could be heard from the extreme end of the sky unto the extreme end of the earth in 1 hour. And they shall fall down and worship Yahweh Tezavot. Here ends the second. This concludes the second parable of Enoch. Enoch 58. The eternal light of the righteous and elect ones. And I began to speak another parable concerning the righteous and the elect. Blessed are you, righteous and the elect ones, for the splendor is your portion. The righteous ones shall be in the light of the sun, and the elect ones in the light of eternal life, which has no end, Le'olam va'ed. And the days of the life of the Kodesh ones cannot be numbered. They shall seek light and find righteousness with Yahweh of hosts. Shalom be to the righteous ones set apart in the shalom of the eternal Yahweh. After this it shall be told to the Kodesh ones in heaven that they should scrutinize the mysteries of righteousness, the gift of faith, for the sun has shined upon the earth, and darkness is over. There shall be a light that has no end, and they shall not have to count days anymore, for already darkness has been destroyed. Light shall be permanent before Yahweh Tezavot, and the light of uprightness shall stand firm forever and ever before Yahweh Tezavot. Enoch 59. The lightnings and the thunder. In those days my eyes saw the mysteries of lightning, and of Shekinah, and of lights, and their judgments. They flash lights for a blessing or a curse, according to the will of Yahweh of hosts. And there also saw the secrets of the thunder, and the secrets of how when it resounds in the heights of heaven, its voice is heard in the earthly dwellings. He showed me whether the sound of the thunder is for shalom and blessings, or for a curse, according to the word of Yahweh of hosts. After that all the mysteries of the lights and lightnings were shown to me, that they glow with light for blessing and for contentment. Enoch 60. Heavy earthquake, great monsters, and mysteries of nature. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month, in the life of Enoch, in the same parable, I saw that the heavens of heavens was quaking and trembling with a mighty, tremulous agitation, and the forces of Yahweh the Most High, and the malakim, 10,000s times a million, and 10 millions times 10 millions, were agitated with great agitation.